The next page logic is where you will have the opportunity to define where the end user will go upon submission of the page. How your dialog flows will be the determining factor of where the person gets routed. This can be a very simple or very complex process. The routing can also be based on conditions on how the person answers a particular question or multiple questions. To first create a simple logic of stating, upon submission of this page, go to a subsequent page, you would simply, inside the dialog properties, click on Next Page Logic and click on New. You're going to get a pop-up where it's going to ask you for the condition name. I'm simply going to put in Go to Next Page. Because I want everybody who submits page 1 to go to page 2, I'm not going to have any conditions. All they have to do is hit the Submit button and they will follow the process of the logic. You can tell the system to go to a URL or to go to a form. I'm going to state to go to a form, and then I'm going to choose my thank you page. You are also able to add the person to a trigger email here, as well as assign them to a particular user. If this is the basic logic that you're wanting, you would click on Save and Close, and the system would now know, upon submission of page 1, to go to page 2. The next area that you're going to see is going to be creating an advanced logic. Advanced logic is where we are doing it dependent on questions. So I'm going to, instead of having everybody go to the same page upon submission, I'm going to have it dependent on how they answer a particular question. To do that, I'm going to select New in the upper right hand corner. And again, I'm going to enter a condition name. So I'm going to say if they choose Microsoft CRM. I'm then going to come over here to the conditions and I am going to add a new condition. I'm going to choose the form that the questions appear on. I'm going to choose the field that I'm basing the condition on. I'm going to choose my Boolean operator, equals, does not contain, contains, begins with, and then choose a possible value. Click on Save, and I'm saying if the person completes this form and they choose for the field CRM type that it equals Microsoft CRM, here's what's going to happen. On this one, I'm going to have them go to a URL. Note that the URL does need to be prefixed by the HTTP or HTTPS. And then I can say, I'm going to send them to this Microsoft page, but I'm also going to add them to a specific Microsoft email. And maybe I have a user called John who is in charge of everything Microsoft, so the new lead would automatically be assigned to John. Save and close. That's my first condition. Let's do another condition because I have multiple values. So this would only satisfy one condition. So let's add in another one. I'm going to choose New. I'm going to enter my condition name, and I'm going to add my condition by again choosing the form that the questions are on, as well as choosing the field, my operator, and my value, and saving. So I'm saying if somebody completes the form and they choose salesforce.com for this field, then maybe I want them to go to a Salesforce website. Put the web address right in here. Once you have the URL, I can then again say add to a salesforce.com specific trigger email, and maybe Tom is the owner of all new records coming in that choose Salesforce as the value. And save and close. Now I could continue to do this for all of my values for that particular field. Or if these are the only two that are important to me, then I would need to create what we call a catch-all. I'm going to select New. I'm going to again give it a condition name. And on this one, there are not going to be any conditions because it's going to automatically satisfy the remaining values that people can choose. And maybe on this one, I do want them to go to a generic thank you page and maybe get added to a generic trigger email. And click on Save and Close. The order that you create these is very important because the way the system is going to look at it is when the form gets completed, it's going to look at number 1, and it's going to see if for this question, does the value equal Microsoft? If it does, then they will be directed to that URL. If it does not, then it will look at the next one. Does it equal Salesforce.com? If yes, they will go to this URL. If no, then it will continue on until it finds a place for the person to go. If this catch-all had been number 1, then everything would have been satisfied in it and nothing would have gone into these subsequent 2. Advanced logic helps get that targeted message to the right person at the right time.